Hey guys, how are you? This is Nabia about Yehuda, your real estate strategist. And you know what? I'm really excited because I have a guest coming on, sharing their knowledge, sharing what they have learned in real estate, whether you are on the buyer side or whether you are on the seller side, or even if you are thinking about the investing side. And so we just want to come in and share some gems with you, what it means to step into this area of real estate, property acquisitions, everything that you need to know. And we basically want to share just a couple of tidbits with you as far as what Mr. Google probably won't tell you. And so we will be here spilling a little bit of tea, not too much, but just enough for us to get you educated in this area. And so one of the things about being a real estate strategist is you do have those tips, you do have those tricks, and you do have that unconventional and creative wisdom that you're going to need for property acquisition. And so, with that said, I'm really excited to have my guest, Natasha Ewing, on here. She's going to come in, and I'm just going to ask you to just kind of buckle your seatbelts just a little bit, not too much, but strap yourself in because we're about to go for a ride. Natasha! There you
Hey,
go.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for having me on your show, Nabia. I am super excited.
I'm excited to have you. You are a wealth of information, and I'm hoping to learn all I can because but you really are, and I love how you represent. And we're going to get into where she is, where you can find her on Instagram and all the other platforms. But what I want to say is that you are a wealth of knowledge, and your well is so deep. I think that what happens with people that are trying to purchase property or even sell their property, they're not really equipped as far as the knowledge, and you need that strategic partner in order to walk them through. And so, before we step into that, I'm going to ask you to just share a little bit of your background and all these gazillion designations that you have, and why you are that go to person.
Well, thank you so much, Nabia, first for having me. I feel honored because I have a tremendous amount of respect for you as an individual, as a coach, and just the woman that I know you are. So, with that said, I'm Natasha Ewing Johnson. I'm actually in the Metro Atlanta area. And after transitioning out of more than 25 years in IT project management,
Mm.
God led me to become a real estate agent. And I believe that whatever you put your hands to, you do it with all your might and you excel. And with that in mind, I made the decision to become a professional at real estate and ensure that I had the knowledge to be able to help my clients make informed decisions about their money. And so there are a few designations that I can share with you. I have my number one being I'm a master certified negotiation expert. What does that mean to you? I help my clients with strategic and intentional negotiation strategies to help them make the best decisions with their money. And I believe negotiation is a key skill for every real estate agent because you want to get the best deal. And I do what's called collaborative negotiation. And I've been able to successfully help my clients using that skill set. The others that I have is I am a certified international property specialist. Less than 4% of agents worldwide actually have that designation. And the way I was able to get it, I work with lots of international individuals who move here from other countries, as well as I work with individuals who are moving here from other countries and out of the country into the U.S. or just purchasing property here in the United States. I also am a pricing strategy advisor. So as far as pricing your home and understanding how pricing works, I try to educate my clients along that way. And finally, out of the tons of them I have, I'm also a member of the Luxury Marketing Institute, which helps me to better understand how to market luxury homes and those that are on the half a million, 1 million price point, help you navigate how to successfully market your home because marketing luxury is a little bit different in some cases because we target specific individuals with net income, etc. So there's a lot that goes into real estate. It's not just getting your house on the MLS or just showing you a home. There has to be a knowledge set that goes along with it. And I have several other designations in new construction, investors. Um, I've gotten all of these designations in order to
Yeah.
assist my clients in making educated decisions.
Awesome, awesome. And so I can tell just by what you're sharing that this is not your garden variety real estate agent.
No,
No. And so honestly, that means that it's important on how you choose the person that's going to be representing you. And so
absolutely.
I want to ask you how does a person choose their representation? How do they choose? What is the process? What does that even look like for the average Joe?
So it starts with basically understanding what you're looking for and knowing that you can connect with that real estate agent. They're a good listener. They know and understand your needs and are able to communicate ideas and educate you on the process. And they are not just taking shortcuts in the
Mhm,
process. And sometimes you may not know that they're taking shortcuts. I'll give you an example. I have a seller right now. I'm listing their home, and she told me her buyer's agent at the time when they bought the home, they didn't do a final walkthrough. Well, that's a step that is crucial before you close on the home. And because they never did a final walkthrough, she told them it wasn't necessary. And
mm,
I said, no, that wasn't an important step. So all of the blinds were gone from the house, and that was part of the seller's disclosure. The seller had every right to put the blinds back,
mhm,
but her buyer's agent told her, hey, don't make a big deal out of it, and left it at that. And so, as an agent, you as a client, first of all, educating yourself, you want to look for someone that's going to answer your questions and cares about who and what you are trying to accomplish, your goals in real estate, whether it's investing, purchasing your first home or your 100th home. And while many people choose a family member, it may not necessarily be the best choice for what you're trying to accomplish. I would start from the position of understanding what your goals in real estate are and finding someone that can help you accomplish those goals and interview people. You don't necessarily have to go with the first agent that you run into. I know that I'm good at what I do, so I'm confident in what I bring to the table and the value that I bring. So I try to help my clients understand, and we go through a buyer consultation, we go through a seller consultation, and it's pretty comprehensive. And I have them answer questions. We have an interviewing session so that they, regardless of whether I'm the only agent interviewing for the job, I still want to ensure that they have that knowledge and we manage expectations going into that. So that's crucial. You don't want to just kind of just go out there and say, I want to look for houses without understanding how the process works.
yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. I think that again, the average Joe or average Jill needs to have confidence in their representation.
Yeah,
there's a lot of paperwork to be done. There are things that
a
people don't,
lot.
yeah, they don't understand the process of the inspection, the waiting period. They don't understand a lot of things, and things just like, okay, I see this home, it looks great, but what else do you need to know besides it looks great? I mean, are you getting the best deal? And that's the whole point of strategy. You're not just looking at it one dimensionally, but you're looking at it from all sides, and of course to the for the best of our clients or our principal. And so, do you have any? What are the top? Okay, guys, she didn't know I was going to ask her this. Well, what are your what are your two or three top tips for your potential client that they should know?
You like to catch me off guard with this.
I mean, and I'm asking because, when and you've been doing this for a long time, and so you know that when a person says, "Hey, you know what? I'm thinking about." I'm thinking about selling my home. I'm thinking about selling my home. So
Okay.
we want to look at it from the seller's point of view. We could do
So
the
let's
buyer, but let's talk about the seller.
let's talk about the seller because it's different for a seller than a buyer. First, know
Right.
why do you want to sell? Knowing your why is absolutely important because this can be a very emotional transaction. Most people don't understand that they develop an emotional attachment to their house. And I try to help my clients understand the moment that you make a decision, a firm decision not to sell your house, that house isn't yours anymore. So
Yeah.
the tip that I give my client, declutter it. Take out all the personal items, personal pictures, etc. off the walls, depersonalize it. Make this a showcase house, right? I want you to think about it. If you walk into a model home today, what do you expect to see? So I don't expect to see toys on the ground. I don't expect to see all my personal items on the bathroom counter. I don't expect to see the counter covered in things and the refrigerator covered in magnets or all of the personal pictures of your kids and grandkids on the wall. You want to remove all of that, right? Declutter and depersonalize the house as much as possible. They should not even know who lives there for the most part because you have really much removed all of the information associated with that property. So I think that's the first step for a seller. Then understand there is a difference in terms of pricing your house because it's the struggle that most sellers have because of the emotional attachment to the house. They think their house is worth $1 million. And not because you put $100,000 into the basement, you've added $100,000 worth of value to your house.
Right.
There is not a dollar for dollar correlation between improvements and the actual value, market value of your house. And
Mhm.
most sellers don't understand that. They argue with me. They're like, well, the Zestimate, well, that's an automatic valuation that does not give you a
Right.
clear picture. So if you have, for example, you have Corian countertops versus your neighbor who has quartz, then
Sports.
the value is going to be tremendously different. There's a differentiator that we have to take into consideration. Your basement is unfinished. Your neighbor's basement was completely finished and remodeled with a pool. Yes, I can't justify an additional $50,000 for your home. So
Hmm.
those are the factors you haven't done. And if you haven't done any updates in the last 25 years to your home, then definitely. While you updated the roof is a maintenance item. You put in the new air conditioning. Air conditioning is a maintenance item. So maintenance items don't add to the value of your home. So
Right.
those are the things that people don't seem to understand because they're weighing it against what they perceive as added value. So the things that you do to maintain the home versus aesthetic or cosmetic improvements, they don't necessarily have a dollar for dollar value increase. So many times people are struggling with that because they get online and they look up a value that does not accurately represent the comps in the area. And they wonder why, okay, why is my home being priced at this point? Well, two things. I price homes to sell, not to sit. And if we want a house to sit out there for 150 days, then yeah, okay, then we can put it on the market like as such. But if you want to actually sell your house and that's the objective, and you want to either upgrade or move into another property, then those are the factors you want to take into consideration. And I clearly show my clients here are the comps, here are the comparable, and you have to look at those and weigh those. And I have to look at it too from the perspective of an appraiser. And we have been blessed on our team. We actually have a licensed appraiser on our team that she actually can help with some of the pricing and the
Mm.
strategy behind it. So it can help us weigh that out very accurately. So there are things that go into pricing, the location, the upgrades to the house, all of these things, the neighborhood that you're in. Those are the types of things that have to be weighed into the pricing on the home so we don't just put things out there um, without any without thinking about it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think that let me move this down. There we go. Because you're in the Atlanta area.
I am in the
And
Atlanta area.
right. And so I put up your IG. You are in the Atlanta area. So it's at Natasha J. Holmes.
Yes, Natasha J. Holmes.
I got it right. I got it
Yes,
right.
you did.
All right. So and so I know that you're very accessible, and you know it is an interesting thing that when people are, and I want to go back to the whole idea of a seller. Oh, I think my home is this. And then when you're coming in with the comps and they're like, yeah, but my neighbor, we've got the same amount of square footage. We've got the same amount of bedrooms. No, 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 no. And so you have to be the realist, the voice of reason. And again, that emotional attachment does not equate to price point. So
And the other factor that clients don't take into consideration is the market. So
yes,
a year ago, right, we can put a house practically at almost any point at any price point and people were gobbling it up because interest rates were so low, right? I
yes.
can afford to pay $30,000 over what that house was actually valued at because I was having what a 2 and 3% interest rate. Now that interest rates have risen tremendously, we are at 7% in lots of markets, 6 to 7% interest rates. We're
Hmm.
not seeing that. In fact, sellers have had to offer concessions. So that is a factor that plays into what you price your home at. You want to price it
Yes.
if you really want to sell that house. And sometimes people are like, well, I'll just hold on to it. Well, again, we go back to your why. So we start with the why and then we move forward.
Right. Right. And I think the why is really important. I always talk to people about tent pegging their why. You know, you have this vision, and there's always going to be some kind of storm that can knock over your tent or over your vision. But it is
Yeah,
important. It is really, really important for you to have, when I say your why, I think it should be at least 7 levels deep so that when the storm comes, the vision will not fall. When there's naysayers, the vision will still stand. And so, why do you want to sell your home, or why do you want to purchase a home? Oh, because this. And I'm going to ask you, well, why? I'm gonna ask why until I bring you down to 7 layers deep, because it is
that's
really important. It's really, really important. And again, the vision has to be in the realm of reality, because we know that people are like, okay, way out there, like this will never happen. We know all things are possible, but they're way, 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 way. And it's just like when we're telling our clients or our potential customers that you have one property that's selling for 2.5 million, and then you have another one that's close to it, and that one is price point at 2 million. Nobody's going to pay the extra, half a.
absolutely.
Nobody's going to do that, and why should they?
That's correct.
Right.
Because you have to factor in the what am I getting for my money? And I always take my sellers through the scenario. If you put the shoe on the other foot, if as a buyer, are you willing to walk into a home and pay $30,000 more than it's worth just because the seller is asking you to do it?
Right.
It depends on what that person's why is, right?
Yeah.
How important it is for them to own property in the atmosphere that they were in right now.
Right.
And last year, I had several buyers walk away from the process saying, you know what, we'll just wait it out. Now, they may be not as happy right now because the interest rates are a lot higher. So their
Right.
buying power has gone down. So whereas they were able to afford a $1 million house last year,
Right.
that now has gone down to about $800,000. And of course, home values have not plummeted, especially here in the metro Atlanta area, at
Hmm.
the rate that people originally anticipated. So we still seeing, and I still have buyers who are in multiple offer situations where they're receiving multiple offers on the house, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah, so we do still have those scenarios still coming up. So we want to be able to be mindful and an educated agent. Ask the right questions, knows the market, know the area, and even if they don't know the area, they know how to do the research in order
Yes.
to identify what is necessary for you to strategically put an offer in to help you get into the home of your dreams or help you sell your home so that you can accomplish your financial goals, whether it is to downsize or to upsize, etc.
Yes. That is, listen, that is some good wisdom right there.
Yeah.
And all you're getting, get wisdom.
Yeah.
It can't just be the emotion of it because people get caught up in the emotion. While you were talking, I was thinking about people that were willing to pay above what the asking price was. But there's a reason for that as well. And it may
Yeah.
be a strategic reason. And so, and we can get into that, perhaps on another segment, but you want to make sure that your emotions are managed. It's got to be managed. Did you want to say something about managed emotions?
Well, yeah, that is a crucial thing for real estate agents. It's that we are, I call it, we wear all kinds of hats, right? And that psychologist in us also has to help our clients manage the emotions and expectations managed up front help your clients make really good decisions, right? So when you help them manage their expectations, then they don't run wild at the end of the day. And that's what happens so often is that we didn't manage the expectations ahead of time. So now that we're later down in the process, and I can tell you multiple stories. When I have skipped the step of going through a comprehensive consultation with my clients, it never fails. Never. When I run into problems, that's when emotions rise because it's a reference point for my clients. I said, remember when we had that conversation about the potential for this to happen during the transaction during our consultation? Here is that opportunity. It resets them to understand, oh yeah, you did tell me about this and mentally you said to be prepared. Here is my opportunity to connect with that mental preparation, right? Because I do walk them through all of the potential stressors of either buying or selling so that they understand, okay, here is the process, right? What's the potential of a buyer's financing falling through? It depends. We don't know what underwriting can come back and say. They could be really strong on paper going into the process, but like I had a deal fall apart yesterday last week where I had a on my listing, we had a contract. We were set to close last week. And at the last minute, underwriting found a tax issue. While IRS issues are not easily resolved, we ended up terminating on the contract, which was unfortunate for the buyer because they had this tax issue that they needed to resolve. So the seller was upset. But the thing about it is that I had to reset them and recenter them or refocus them back to we had this discussion previously. I need you to understand that.
Wow. That's some
Yeah.
powerful stuff right there. Wow. Wow. And it does happen. And, we as the strategist or the realtor or the psychologist at times have to be prepared to kind of insulate our clients and just prep them for whatsoever may come. And so, and I think that's really, really important. And I believe that that also builds the confidence of that prospect because they're like, you know what, she really knows what she's talking about, and she
Yeah.
really helped me because I was about to go out there, and so she saved me. So,
Because
but
you
I
don't want to go off into left field really
yeah,
quickly
yeah.
because you're like, well, these buyers are not serious. No, no, that's not the case. And, I need you to understand this is the process. And I use myself as an example. When I was going into underwriting, I remember the day of my close, the underwriter called, asked for more bank statements. I was like, hold on. We're closing in 2 hours. They're like, we just need this one thing. And I had packed up my whole house. The movers were on their way to the house. And I had people strategically keeping my kids. I had arranged all of this stuff. And I never forgot, I'm in my master bedroom at the time, and I was packing a box when I got the call. And I thought, what? So I'm scrambling to find my computer, pull it out, download statements, email them over to the underwriter, and lo and behold, my agent, and I was not an agent at the time, myself, my husband, and the seller was sitting there for 2 hours at the attorney waiting for us to close. because the underwriter needed some last minute documentation. So there are things that happen in that process that are unexpected, that we are not it never it probably almost never goes absolutely the way we want it to do. It's no Nothing is absolutely perfect. So you have to prepare for those hiccups, right? And when those hiccups come, what's going to be your response?
Right. That
Preparation gives you that power to say, you know what, we know this was going to there's a potential for it to happen. It's almost like risk mitigation. Let me tell you all the potential risk of all these things happening. What is your response during that process?
wow. There is a process, y'all. There
Yep.
really is. So, what we're going to do is we're going to close it out right here. Natasha, I just want to thank you so much for coming in, sharing your wisdom. And I know that people are going to reach out to you in the Atlanta area. So, guys, if you are looking for that go to strategist, someone that's going to build your knowledge base so that you're not just walking in blind, I really want to suggest and recommend Natasha J. Holmes for you. And your brokerage is EXP
EXP Realty.
Realty. And we probably will come back and do a segment just on EXP Realty, what
Yay!
they offer. Why should you, if you're a real estate agent, why should you leave where you are and come to EXP? What are the benefits of that? We're going to
Yeah.
talk about that in the next segment because not all brokerages are created
Equal.
equal. That part. All right. So, with that said, we are going to we're gonna leave you just for a little while, just for a little while. We're gonna leave you for a little while, but we will be back with some great information. We'll have some inspectors in here, we'll have some loan officers in here. Like I said, we are ready to spill some serious tea. All right, we want you to be knowledgeable so that you don't go flying blind, all up in your feelings and all of that. We're gonna keep it 100 for you. So I love you, Natasha. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My
This
pleasure.
is this is live talk real estate strategy with your hostess. Trying not to do the mostest. Nabi about Yehuda Harbin.
Yay!
All right, guys.